Welcome to Sacred Magic. Violet is on a quest to bring sacredness back into our everyday experiences. Anyone can have an extraordinary life when they are able to tap into their sacred magic within. Violet and her guests will be sharing their divine passions, inspirations, and stories of connecting with their sacred magic. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Violet Rain.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sacred Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Violet B. Rain. My guest today is Dani Margeaux. She is a soul activator and grid worker, guiding you in activating your soul's remembrance to live your most fulfilled life. She does this by utilizing modalities like the Akashic records, cosmic and galactic frequencies to channel guidance for empowering her students to claim their full power with full love, compassion, and acceptance. She helps them shine their light from within and transmute fear into love. She believes our soul frequency is unconditional love, and when we can embody this vibration and integrate it into our lives is when we can transcend the density of the third dimension. She supports this transformation by helping clients release limiting beliefs on the somatic, emotional, mental, and behavioral and unconscious levels. Dani has found deep healing for her clients when pairing these with clearing past life karma, DNA upgrades, light code activations through the Akashic and Quantum realms. Life is meant to be lived full on, and Dani partners with you to achieve that. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Violet. It's such an honor to co-create this space with you.
Well, I'm as excited to be able to talk to you today because I do Akashic records. I'm very familiar. I do DNA activations through the Mystery School. And I also love the galactic cosmic frequencies. So we have a lot in common. So I love chatting with people on similar topics.
Yes. Oh my gosh. All those things just like fill my soul so much.
Well, and I think those are great conversations. I think the one thing I've been pushed to talk about a lot lately is the energetics. I call it the energetics. And people go, what does that mean? Well, we're energy. Everything around us is energy. And as the world gets very chaotic right now, we need to understand how to manage those frequencies and energies so that we don't get so pulled into the reality out there and that we create our own circle. Have you seen that as well, especially this year?
Yeah, so ultimately, right, it's understanding your own fundamental soul frequency. And that's really what I found. It's like clearing away, right, all the conditioning, limiting beliefs, and really coming to your core essence. And when you understand your energy and your frequency, that's how you're able to really like move through the world as, for me, a psychic, empath, highly sensitive person with more peace because I'm not taking on everyone else's news, emotions, energy, and I can still be there for people and show up in my highest expression while still being in my fundamental frequency. And yes, I think energy is everything, and getting to the core of understanding that will help you just live a more peaceful life.
Well, you talk about soul frequencies, and shamans often talk about that our soul has a song, that we have a vibrational song to us, and they do when they do some of their healing is releasing the trauma, the wounds, the same thing, just a different approach to realign us with that soul frequency. And so I love to also teach that you have a song, and people are like, what? And I said, you may not be able to hear it, but as a soul that moves through life, your perfection, your purest essence has a song to it, a rhythm, a frequency. It can actually be heard on some levels, which is really kind of cool too, to think about that vibration of who we are. So I love it's very similar, right? We weave in and out of these same belief systems or, I don't know, universal expressions right? Throughout, and everybody comes from a different place, but it's very similar, right? And what we're doing.
Yeah, and it's like kind of figuring out what resonates or works for you, on all levels, logically, but also heart-led, and kind of just like, leaning into that, whatever that is, whatever brings you curiosity or lights you up. And it's like figuring what angle, right, or modality that way is for you to help, bring you more peace and harmony in your life.
So share with the audience, what is karma to you, and what do you find is karma, and why is it important to understand that today? Because everybody has a different definition, a different perspective of karma. So I always love asking people, what is karma to them?
I love that. I see karma as an energetic buildup of the soul's expression. And so I perceive it as like as a human, there could be good karma or bad karma, but as a soul level, the soul just wants to express itself, which I know we a lot, and a lot of our listeners know. And so what I see karma is like when we have a life with a soul contract that maybe it's like more heartbroken, right? You're like kind of in more pain. There's like maybe a wound with your family that you're meant to empower yourself out of the relationship, whatever that lesson is, right? The karma that you're creating and building in that lifetime is determined by how you act. And so, for example, let's say you're in a relationship with someone and like they're pretty, they're not good for you, and you're meant to be empowered by that, right? Rise above whatever is happening. And if you're unable to do that, you build this energetic like blanket that if you aren't able to break through that contract of becoming empowered, you carry that karma to the next life where you will continue to be heartbroken until you can empower yourself and become that sovereign being where you love yourself. You don't need that, external validation. You feel worthy. So, how I see karma is like it's tied to your soul contract where it's meant to help empower you in some kind of way. And if you're unable to do that in a lifetime, you continue to carry that energy with you until you can build through it.
It sounds a lot like we carry wounds from lifetime to lifetime until we figure out how to heal and clear those wounds so that we can be who we are meant to be, truly ourselves. And for some people, I find clients myself that continue to get attracted back to the same type of relationship, the same type of people, the same wounds and pains, the same heartache, and it's the same idea. It's a cycle, right, that we can break if we understand that. So, I know when I talk to clients, not every relationship is meant to be long term, and we hang on to them longer than we really are supposed to when we could really see it for what it is, heal it, move past it, because society has created all these set parameters of what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to do it and why we're supposed to do it. And if we could just break free from all of that expectation, think what we could do with our lives, right?
Yeah. And the opposite is also true with like the positive perception of it, right? Like our soul gifts, maybe our psychic gifts, our cosmic soul languages, like the abundance. That is also true of things you've cultivated through lifetimes. And it's figuring out here how to utilize that. So, for example, for me, I had built up my cosmic soul languages, clairvoyance and claircognizance are the strongest. And I have clairaudience, I have clairsentience as well, but it's like figuring out, okay, like my strongest is my gut knowing in this life. And so how can I utilize that, trust that because that's a gift that I have that's different from anyone else. And everyone has different ranges of their specific cosmic soul language. And so really like understanding there's like the good, the bad, but overall it's all just soul experience. And how can you find more peace within that space?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Have you ever had clients that are really stuck in that victim energy that life's against them? Nothing ever goes right. Nothing's ever good. How do you help them move through that and release that? Is there ways to do that? If people are listening and they feel like life's just tough, it's always tough for me, I can't ever have anything. How do you work with those clients to get them to move through that?
Yeah, so what I've found is like the first level that I like to address is the mental, because that's where you store the narratives of the limiting beliefs of the trauma that you're holding in your emotional or causal body or, in your physical body, right? And so that's a perception of your belief from maybe before the age of 7, maybe it's held on, generationally, maybe it's past life, whatever that is, but that's a narrative you're keeping. And so by helping you reprogram the subconscious on the mental level, that's going to support you in bringing awareness to what the pattern is in the beginning, right? Even bringing awareness to what you're experiencing as a limiting belief that you think life doesn't work for you, all these things. And then it's showing your mind, right? Reprogramming the subconscious of the opposite of like where in your life has things actually worked out and shifting your perspective, bringing in that compassion for yourself, that forgiveness, because ultimately it's acceptance of self for the wholeness, right? That's when your inner critic gets softer and nicer and kinder instead of judgmental, right? And then it's moving into that aligned action from that cleared space because you can't activate what isn't healed and you can't hold the highest frequency or timeline when it hasn't been activated. You can't hold it, right? So it's really it's the unraveling that comes first. It's the mental loops, it's the narrative, and it's bringing the energy from the mind to the heart. So, grounded wise, like what are some rituals you can do that really nourish you? And can you really do those every day, maybe for 21 days, right? Our mind, I think that behaviors in our life takes like 21 days to really set in. And so it's working with the subconscious, the mental, the habits, the behavioral, and it's addressing several layers so that you can move through all the steps. So I like starting with the mental, the victim energy I see in the mind. And then from there, it's the subconscious, the unconscious, and then it's, the trauma held in the body. You work with the energetic once they're aware of it. And then you move through the compassion, self-forgiveness, and then you go into that aligned action where they like imagine knowing the next steps and not being stuck in indecision and trusting that every decision you make is correct, right? And so it's like being able to move them from victim to sovereign. And those are kind of like what I found, utilizing the whole mind, body, spirit.
I love that because every creation in your life starts with the mind. Our mind is the creator. It's where it starts, and then moving it into your heart and leveling out is really important. How do you use the Akashic records, and how do you explain the Akashic records to your clients so that they understand the difference between tapping into the records and our intuition, and how does that work for you?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The first question, I use Akashic Records for every single thing in my life. I live in this living field of consciousness that we all have access to. How I would describe the Akashic Records is the records of all souls that ever existed, past, present, future. It is accessing a bigger, expanded perspective that than you have as your human experience. And so, if you look at your chakra system, right, from the Earth star to your soul star, that would be, your human perspective. When you're able to take a higher perspective, you're able to access the stellar gateway, right, the divine gateway, the galactic gateway, and I access the Akashic records at the galactic gateway, which is directly beneath God consciousness. And so I'm accessing this view to offer you this beautiful perspective on life that your mind or your ego might not be able to like really understand. And so how I utilize it in all my work is I connect with the person or the client's higher self before I do anything, and I just get a little consult with their higher self. And I usually, it's their higher self that's able to like share with me, this is what they're working through, these are their contracts, and this is like how to support them, for their most aligned life. And so when I have that information and I come into a session, I'm already able to know kind of what they're going to share with me before. And then when they do, I'm like, okay, well, what is the best way to support you through this, right? Is it going into a past life and clearing past life karma that isn't yours to hold anymore? Is it working with the ancestors? Is it working with the galactic past lives? Is it working with the somatic? Is it working with your heart? Like what is it? And obviously overall, like there's going to be different, I see them as like soul key codes held in your field where you can like heal, activate, clear, all the things. And there's like a certain blueprint or template that your soul has. And so we work together to really partner with clearing that and aligning it to the fundamental soul frequency, right? Like your fundamental blueprint that you were meant to activate in this lifetime and give you, like a map of how to get there.
I love that. I love that. You talk about the cosmic galactic frequencies. What does that mean, and what has been your experience working with those energies?
It's really interesting because I think as humans, I am very much in the embodiment phase, right? Like I'm here to be human and I'm here to embody the fullest expression of what that means. But I have had seasons where I'm like trans channeling galactic beings from Sirius or Lyra because I feel like they are going to support me on this journey. And I definitely think connecting to past versions of you, star families, soul families on different lives can be supportive along your journey to help find more about you, which helps just validate your experience deeper. But I do think ultimately, gaining that sovereignty and power within your current personal experience is more empowering than accessing these other frequencies that are outside of you or different consciousness or different parallel versions of you. I think it's so supportive, but the goal of it is to help you in this existence currently.
To be physically in our body, working with our body. What a concept. We want to be floating out in the ethers 24/7. And the reality is, you came here to experience this in the physical. So, how do you do that, right? And connecting with that is so awesome when you can really do that. You talk about connecting to the unseen world unlocks a whole new world of magic and miracles. So, talk to us about what is the unseen world to you? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, so it's been a long journey, and I want to start where I have been searching for my purpose my whole life. Ever since I was a kid, I would like play basketball outside in my front yard. I was like maybe 10 years old, and I would look up at the stars and I'd be like, there's something more here than I'm aware of. And so my whole life, 2 decades, I'm 36 now. It's been this search for something more, something beyond the physical that I've been taught. And it's been a search of like thinking it's my career, it's my relationships, it's the achievements that I have in my life. And when I opened up to the unseen world, so for me it's energy. It's beyond. It's seeing past loved ones come to you, and it's seeing the support from your Akashic guides. It's interweaving the unseen world with everything that I do. So for me, I am a portal, I am a vessel, I'm a physical vessel, but the bridging the gap is understanding that when I go outside and I have this physical, beautiful experience, when I go watch sunset, let's say, and from a physical, 3D scene world, I'm enjoying, the waves. I'm enjoying the sand underneath my feet. I'm enjoying the wind, and I feel a sense of calm because of, the ions and the nature and all the things. And then when I bridge the unseen, I begin to hear the whispers of the ocean and I hear the messages that she has to offer me. And then I begin to see past lives where I have lived here and resided here before. And I see that version of me come forward and is so grateful for the life I've had and the life I've created. And then I receive, downloads, and I feel this connection with, maybe my serious, aspect of me that I'm working with deeply right now, who's a healer. And then I see dolphins come through, and I know, and I feel a resonance in my body that I'm feeling guided and protected. So those two, lives, those two perspectives can exist at once. And I understood that when I became that vessel, that I see the physical, I enjoy it, but I also see the unseen and how much it supports me in every given moment.
I love that. I love that. I had somebody tell me, or I was talking to him this last week, and I was talking about I have seen some of my past lives, and they're like, "Really? You can do that?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, throughout my life I've seen bits and pieces. I've known from a deep understanding these experiences I've had. Now, is it about me living in those experiences, or is it about me taking the gifts, the lessons, the things that I've learned, because we carry those through. I talk about life. your lifetimes are like a video game. You
Yes.
get a new video game and it's your first time to be in a physical body. You have no idea how the game works, what you need to know about the game. So the level might take you weeks, months to get through. And then once you get the idea of how this works, you start moving into the levels and you get faster and quicker and more knowledgeable as you move through. And we carry that wisdom through every level of the game that we have gained. Same as lifetimes. We carry that wisdom. We get smarter, we get faster, all of that. And when you can connect back into that knowledge, it can really help you in this lifetime. But it's not about you staying there, it's about you recognizing it and who you are, right? And what you carry through. Because what I've found is we do similar things through many of our lifetimes. Healers have been doctors, have been medicine people, who have been herbalists, they have had all these variations of experience within the same frame because we evolve through those experiences. Have you seen similar things in your work as well?
100%. When I first accessed the Akashic records, I'll just share personally before I share like with my students, but I spent 8 months in past lives where every day I would have a 30-minute meditation. I'd be like, okay, guides, show me what I need to see. And they would bring me to, lives where I was doing other things and I was a powerful psychic, and other ones where I was poor and I died on the streets. They're just such a range. And I had lives in Egypt and I've had lives in South America. And it was just so awesome to witness and experience for myself. And what I've seen with clients is there is an underlining, like soul contract. Like people come in and your specific soul, let's say like I had a student was all about family. So her family life was always going to be something she had to evolve with. So whether it was really hard or really beautiful, right? So she was going to have really beautiful relationships with her parents, but then hard ones with her, boyfriends and girlfriends. And then let's say her parents, the life with her relationship with her parents were hard, but then the relationships with her boyfriend and girlfriend were good, right? It's like navigating every perspective of the family. And I think it's so beautiful to be able to access these parts of you to just find out deeper about yourself, but also heal that energy. And I think that's just like such a big part of all of it.
I think it's part of our evolution, whatever that is, right? Whether we're engineers and we're really into the technical side, or whether we're healers or family or relationships, we're here to figure out how to navigate all those and have those experiences. And it's all over the spectrum. So, people will come in and say, well, I've never done anything bad. And I'm like, I hate to tell you, we all have. That's part of this experience is
Yeah.
what happens when we make a negative choice than a positive. I had somebody come in recently that's trying to consider whether she wants to get a divorce or not. So she's like, I'm praying to God to give me an answer. And I said, he's not going to. And she goes, what do you mean? I said, it is a choice. He's going to love you if you choose to stay or if you choose to go. It is really your choice. He's waiting for you to choose, or she or our divine is waiting for you to choose. It doesn't matter to them whether it's a stay or a go, right? This is an experience. It's like being in, I think of all the Star Trekky and technology, right? You're in this matrix navigating, and what is your choices? You get to choose what you want to do and how that works out for you.
That's like one of the biggest things. Like you said that so beautifully. And like when I first accessed the Akashic records, the amount of like compassion and love I felt from them was something I had never experienced myself. And I realized just the value of my choice, and everything we do is leading up to that. And they don't care. They want you to be empowered enough to make a choice. And obviously, like one, this client of yours, one decision is going to be harder than the other, but ultimately there is one that's going to free her, right? But it's ultimately like they're gonna love you unconditionally. And it's like sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, that's just my own pressures I put on myself. And if I just like had more acceptance for me, then I would feel more at peace. And like supported in my decisions. It's like it's a journey, it's a spiral I've definitely been on.
Well, and if we could just understand that energy, right? I was watching a YouTube video this week of a person that had a near-death experience. And in this life, it had been very difficult, right? Never included, always the outsider, never accepted, all those feelings that we carry. And she had been praying for a while, either heal me or let me go home, either make this better or let me go home. And then she had this near death experience, and she goes, "You don't understand the feeling." Like they were like, "Oh, welcome home. We're so happy to see you." And this love and this peace that she felt in this experience. She goes, "I can't explain to you how much love, support, and peace I felt in that experience, that near death experience." And it was like, wow, if people could only know
Yes.
what that feels like and how loved they are, and these divine beings wrapped around me, and I couldn't see them, she said, but I could feel them and hear them. And oh, welcome home, my dear, we've been waiting for you, it's so good to see you. And she goes, acceptance overload that you've never had always here in this physical experience. If we could just understand that piece of love that they have for us, every one of us, there's nobody excluded from that. No matter what you've done, what you've experienced, what choice you make, everybody has that same experience. There's no judgment, criticism, beat you over the head like we do to ourselves, right? If we could just step into a little bit of that, think about what our world would be like, right? We
Yeah.
could change everything if we could just have that experience. So I love that. So share with us what you offer, because I know you offer a lot. And you're this beautiful soul, and I'm so happy you're on this plane doing this work. So share with us some of the things that you offer and what clients you love to work with.
Yeah, thank you so much. So my theme, my fundamental theme is like unconditional acceptance and love. And I try to bring that through all my work. And so what I offer are not only Akashic readings, but also an Akashic deep mentorship. And so we do it's like I kind of incorporate this as my soul technology, where there's my coaching, my trauma informed coaching, you know, as well as the Akashic guidance. And it like brings you through this 9 week beautiful clearing, activation, and higher self embodiment where you really can align to your highest timeline and live a life with full, expression and really doing all the things that you want to do in your life. And I also teach Reiki. And so understanding some, energy is this is a really beautiful place to start. I also do have just specific coaching where, we help you with resourcing yourself and moving through emotions and energy. And so I have these pillars of, unconditional acceptance, love, and trust. And through everything I have, it's supporting you in that way. So I also do Reiki healings and energy healings in person out here in Redondo Beach, California, as well as virtually, and just really bringing the potency of this work into this space. And the clients that I have typically are working with either the voice, the heart, or the solar plexus. So the solar plexus not feeling worthy of love, relationships, starting a business, not feeling good enough. Really working with the heart, giving more, like where they don't prioritize themselves, they are giving and giving, and they're at the bottom of their list. They give to their families, their jobs, and they haven't chosen themselves. And so it's really working with them about they receiving the love as much as they are giving. That's, filling your cup is just as important. And then the voice is, really helping those who hide, bite their tongue, don't feel like their voice is important, right? And helping them share their voice, share their soul's expression, and really be in a place of authenticity and vulnerability without the fear and the self-doubt. And so those are typically the main people that I work with who are trying to move through and have the feel safe within their bodies, feel safe making decisions, and feeling safe going after what they really want.
I love that. I love that. And we will have her website throughout the video and also in all the descriptions. So whether you're watching or listening, we'll have all that information there. So make sure that you check it out. Thank you for sharing your sacred magic with us today and all your gifts and all of your services. You're an amazing soul. So we appreciate you doing the work that you're doing out there.
Thank you so much. And I just have a quick question. I see
Yeah.
like a little photo you have up there. Is that Archangel Zachariel by chance?
It's Saint Germain.
Saint Germain. Yes. I was like something with the violet flame.
It is the violet flame in Saint Germain. So yeah, I've been working with the violet flame for years. So it's really important. Of course, I also work with all the elementals, the fairies and all of that throughout too. So I love all those aspects and special, but yeah, that's Saint Germain up there. So thanks
Yeah,
for
I
asking.
love it. But thank you so much. It's been such an honor to be here and co-create this beautiful space with you.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you for those that are watching. Make sure you like, comment, and follow us on your favorite channels. We're getting close to 200 episodes with Sacred Magic. So I have lots of people starting from the very beginning and listening to all of them. And if that's your thing, please join us. We would love to see you. And I wish everyone listening a sacred and magical week.
Thank you for joining us. To find out more about Violet, head over to discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. You can also send a personal message to Violet through email, violet@discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. If you love the show, subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. Until next time, remember, we are meant to have abundant and joyful lives. We hope to see you soon at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.